Hey, it's your favorite life coach, Dr. Boz, and today I want to talk about resilience. Resilience is the R in my Got Hers. In case you didn't know, H is for health, E is for empowerment, R is for resilience, and S is for self worth. Lately, resilience has been getting a negative a connotation or a negative meaning attached to it, and I totally understand why. Because when we think about being resilient, a lot of simple definitions are about sort of bouncing back after something bad has happened, very reminiscent of a rubber band. Like something happens or we get stretched to our limits, bad things happen, we get disturbed, and then we snap back, right back like nothing ever happened. And maybe that's what resilience meant a long time ago, but that is not what it means. Now, I studied resilience as a part of my doctoral work, and initially it took place in the 1970s, and it was more about ecosystems around them returning to normal after disturbance. But as we got more and more into psychology and really understanding resilience, then it was looked at from the lens of like poverty, abuse, and being able to overcome that too. Um, and I'm going to use my book because, yeah, like a lot of these definitions, there's a lot of definitions from them. So, another definition that came later on was the ability to obtain and use resources. Flaws in that one. And then more recently, it talked about looking at challenges as an opportunity to grow. And this is the one that I like, even though I would still tweak that definition a little bit. I like that idea about looking at things that happen to us in our lives as opportunities to grow. So instead of asking the question, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Or trying to find meaning behind what's happening, because that's what we do, right? Like, why? This happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. It's very hard to grasp that concept, especially when it's something horrible that happens to you or to a loved one. So instead of thinking about resilience as a rubber band, think about it in terms of paper, right? If bad things happen to somebody repeatedly, they are not going to be able to return to whole the same way they were, right? So that old idea about resilience doesn't work because you won't be the same. But can you still make something beautiful out of this? Can you make something better out of it? Can you make something new out of it? With resources. So it is a little bit of using your resources, but it's also, instead of asking why this happened to me, what is this teaching me? What can I learn from this? And the thing is, it doesn't have to be done now, right? Because if I'm in the middle of a crisis because I lost somebody to something tragic, I'm not going to be thinking about where can I grow from this? Nah, I got to do the work to heal first. I may need some counseling. There's things I need to get over before I can go back and look. So a lot of times resilience is happening in the moment, but the reflection is happening afterward. And so part of my job as a coach is to work on your resilience. Let me tell you some things that lead to resilience or that actually impact your personal resilience. So one is self-esteem. You know me, I'm always talking about self-esteem. Self-esteem promotes resilience. The more that you feel you are worth it, the more you are going to do the work to answer that question of what is this teaching me? The more you're going to look at challenges as opportunities for growth instead of running or hiding from them or feeling overwhelmed by them. Another thing that's going to increase your resilience is amount of support you have. Again, these torn up pieces of paper are not going to be able to put themselves back together. Then you might need some tape, you might need some glue. Consider those your support systems, kind of like me being a life coach. So friends, therapists, things like that, community resources, those are all considered supports. But they're going to take that in order to build something new, and not completely new because there's still pieces you there, but being able to transform, which is the last piece, transformability, your ability to change a system that is no longer working. So that is going to increase your resilience. If you're able to look at how you're doing things, how you're viewing things, how you're living, and say, you know what, this shit is not working. What can I do differently? And then making those changes. That is what resilience is about. That is one of the things that I cover in my coaching classes. It's so important to get away from that stigma of, resilience means bounce back or resilience meaning be strong. Nah, because honestly, I don't want to be strong no more. I've been through a whole lot of things. And for me, it's not about strength. I try not to sound sort of upset or dismiss people when they say that I'm a strong woman. But yeah, that shit is overrated, being a strong woman. So let's not equate strength with resilience because they're not the same thing. Resilience is really about your ability to transform the way that you look at challenges, whether it's after the fact or sometimes in the moment, looking at them and thinking, what is this trying to teach me? Not why is this happening to me? How can I grow from this? What can I learn from this? And again, sometimes it can't happen in the middle of whatever's happening in your life. Sometimes we have to step aside, or we have to actually get through it, and then we can reflect on, what did this teach me? What will I do differently? That's the resilient part. And unfortunately, we have no choice but to be resilient. That is why we are here. You are resilient because you made it through the womb, or and out through a birth canal, or maybe out of a stomach if you were cut, because you survived different things, right? So you have no choice but to be resilient. You are a resilient being, whether you feel like it right now or whether you want to be or not. It's up to you to decide what to do next, again, about the things that we learned. And that's what resilience is about. So changing those systems, if you are ready to change those systems, the way that you think, the way that you move, because it's not working, then that's what Got Hers, Got More Life Coaching is for. So that's what the R is for in resilience. The R is for and Got Hers is for resilience. So again, we are not talking about bouncing back like that rubber band. We are talking about those pieces of paper, and how can we put those pieces of paper, how can we transform these pieces of paper into something else while still knowing that the original is still there. Okay, resilience. So thank you for tuning in, and as always, I'm available to you at www.brendachild.com. Peace.